Alrighty, so we're continuing the second part of this lesson, right? And we're going to be doing the more interactive components in Figma now and learning how to create components and how to work with layouts. So let's go ahead and do the second part. Just going to share my screen. I know I made a set over here as my like starting kind of warm up tryout thing, but I like to design this from scratch as opposed to just diving into it and popping it in there, because it won't make sense to you especially if you have never done this in Figma before. So I like to introduce this from the very beginning. If you notice, this is called a section. Now, aside from frames and sections, there's two different things. Frames, as you know, are more robust and more dynamic in terms of auto layout we just explored earlier, creating artboards, some more dynamic content, okay? Whereas sections is just a way for you to organize your assets and other things. So I'm going to just kind of move this away from here, keep it as my side attribute, and create a new section here. So I'm making a section on top of my layout and design. Okay. So to do that, instead of the frame tool, I'm going to go to the section tool and just make a section like this. And I'm going to rename this buttons and menus. Buttons and menus, right? And here I can put whatever I want. Basically, it's like another artboard, but not in function, in just a placement holder area. Notice how it's even grayed out. Okay. Some people don't even do this. They just draw your rollovers here on a blank canvas. That's fine too. But I like to contain things in a folder type of level. Okay. So first thing is let's do let's do the social media icons. Also have the like button that we did from the icon plugin earlier. But maybe I'll do simple objects for now. I don't want to overcomplicate things because it's going to be too hard to mess up. So notice how this is also grabbed from here. Once you see purple, purple is an indicator, okay, that you're dealing with components. Components by default have a purple color field attribute. So when you see purple, it's a component, okay? If you select something and it's blue, like the blue outline, it's a normal design object or text box. See, so everything in blue is considered more like a simple design asset. Every time you see something purple, it's a more advanced selection of an asset, which goes to the subject line of components. So therefore, let's distinguish the two here now. So I'm not going to use this. I'm going to delete it. Okay. And I'm going to create my own buttons from scratch. Now, buttons come in many forms. You can make like a rectangle with text. You could just make text, do buttons. Let's keep it simple and make the text like I did before. I'm going to use the type tool and type the home button first. I'm going to use all capitals. Okay, so it's nice and loud. So there's my home button. Okay. I'll purposely make it bigger so we can see it. And then I'm going to copy that. So copy the home button. This way the styles remain the same when you make the rest of the buttons. Okay. You can also do, like I mentioned earlier, option drag, Command D, right? So you can make as many buttons as you want. I'm going to make 4 buttons, okay? So home, bio, portfolio, and contact. That's the most 4 important sections of your portfolio. I don't care if they're evenly distributed. I'm just going to use this as an example, but they're all, look, they're all separate. Okay. They're all separate. I don't care if they're lined up right now. They can be all selected. What I'm going to do now, though, is convert them all individually into components. Okay. And for that, you have to go over here and create component. I don't know if you remember XD, the shortcut was Command K. Here it's Command Shift K. Another shortcut is on the PC. I think it's Option Command K. On the PC, it's Option Control K. Just read your shortcuts there and you can see it. Either way, you can click on this button and now this becomes a component. Notice how it's purple and this is blue. You can differentiate what's a component, what's not a component. Okay. So simple enough, right? Now what? Well, now that we have a component, okay, we're going to go ahead and add what's called a variant. Okay, a variant makes a component more visually appealing in terms of its functionality. You can also do things like masks and other things. But once you add a variant, it creates a duplicate of that component, like a rollover. Now, XD is different. And this was the biggest learning curve for me, transitioning from XD to Figma, because in XD, it was done all in the menu. Like rollovers were all done here. Like I think I demonstrated that last week quickly, if you watched the video, how to use switches and rollovers in XD. I did it all using that menu there. And I created a component, and then I made it I gave it a state, a rollover, a hover state, a default state, a click state, whatever. Figma, it's a different ballgame. First, you make a component, and then you make a variant. I know these words sound a little weird, or maybe not as familiar to you, but this is the terminology they use. So component and variants, okay? And with those two things now, you can create these rollover states. So components, variants. So now what happens now is this. You zoom in, right? And this repeats. I'll repeat this again and again and again. So 4 times in the video, you got to get it, right? So what happens here to the second one is let's make the change. So I'm looking at this background. I have like a white kind of gray background. So why don't I do this to be I just highlighted by accident. There we go. So this will be like a blue rollover. And initially this will be, but be careful, don't fill the whole thing. Rather than double click to change the text color. So I mean, I should have done this before, but that's okay. I'll do it now. So maybe this will be a dark gray, okay, even a black. Okay, so you can see here black and blue. And I have to go with those dark colors because I'm gonna have like a white kind of nav bar background, okay? So that's the colors that I'm using. Keep in mind when you pick colors, okay? They're all located here and saved. So you can always reuse the same colors for consistency. All right, so now that we changed our colors, and you could have done that from the get-go, but let's say you do it now. What happens is now you go to, zoom in here. Prototype, okay? Because prototype now is when you interact with these components or variants. Without you going to prototype, this will not be possible. As a matter of fact, prototype is how Figma interacts with your entire design, layout, app, website, whatever you name. So prototype is how you do the interaction. So far we were doing design. I didn't want to go back and forth. I was trying to really focus on design. So we cover all the design fundamentals and basics and important attributes. So now we're going to get into the prototyping things. That's why we're into the prototype time. This is where all the prototype takes place. So what that means is we get to utilize this selection here, and you can grab it from here, whatever you like from here. I like to grab the side. So what I'll do now is drag this to over here. You see how like literally I'm telling this to become that. I'm telling this to become that. And this menu is going to show up and say, well, what are you trying to do here? What I'm trying to do is on click or while hovering, like when you roll the mouse over, okay, what I want to happen is change this property one, which is by default, this is called property one, okay, variant two. It's going to change it to variant two. And this is variant two right here. See variant two, okay? So this is going to change to variant two. I mean, honestly, you don't have to overthink this. Just as soon as you drag it, it's done. I'm just trying to explain it properly so I don't miss anything. So this is going to change to that. That's all that means. You can select different options if you have multiple variants, but chances are you stick with two. It's probably the best thing. You can also scale it up afterwards. So stick with this for now. So while hovering, change it to this one, okay? And close it, okay? So what that did was basically create that action. And now if you go to assets, okay? What you have here is called buttons. If it didn't show up for a second, because you have to open it up, buttons and menus. There's a home button, okay? I apologize about the dark screen. You can't see it, but this now became the button I want to use. So what I want to do is now drag that button over here, my website, right? And I can use this now for my menu, okay? You can make it more complicated if you want, or more simple. But for now, let's test it, make sure it works before we do the rest of them. And then I'll do the rollovers for the Facebook attributes. I'll show you other type of mechanical interactions you can make with your UI kit. Because I know it's called a UI kit, but it's also a layout for your portfolio. I like to incorporate both if you can, as much interactive things as you see fit, as well as like rollovers will be practical for you, as well as some of the other things if you want. Like I'll do the like button and stuff, okay? So let's go ahead and play this now. To play this preview, like to test this, okay, what you have to do. Oh, by the way, one more thing, since I'm here, if I want to link this to an actual page, I can literally now drag this to another artboard, just like you would in XD. Same thing, right? Because I'm in prototype mode, right? So that's when you can just go click, click, click. I mean, you can even do prototypes without components, really. You can make a whole thing just by click and tap and it's done. But I wanted to show you how to do more advanced stuff, not just, click here and do this. So this is now doing a rollover with a navigational attribute using a component and a variant state. Okay. So again, this stuff gets a little complicated, but I'm trying to keep it as simple as I can until we get to the next level. Okay. So let's test it now. Here we go. I'm going to go back to design. So I'm switching between design and prototype at will, just to kind of get things to work. I'm going to click here and go to preview. You can do present or preview. They both do the same thing. Okay, one has a different shortcut than the other. A preview is going to give you more like a separate window of an actual interactive thing. Oh, wrong one. I'll go and look, I'm using my arrow keys to go next because I have different artboards I can preview, right? I'm going to make this a little, look, I can scroll. If this is like a website browser window, this is what the website's going to look like right now. Okay, so I can scroll down. Okay, and if I roll over this button here, look what happens. It changes color, right? All that work just to make the button change color. But it's well worth it because once you invest the time to do it, you'll be doing this in seconds. It's so easy, right? So now that we took advantage of the rollover and it works nice, and that's how we're gonna proceed with this. Let's make the other ones work too, and we can include those in our arsenal of rollover functions. Now, if you're not happy with the choice of colors, you can always go and change them. So what you do is you edit the master variants Master variants right here. See this one. But remember, you got to double click and then change the text color from here, which is the fill. Because if you just click once, you're changing the actual box that contains the text. It's like a text box in its own way, if you know what I mean, right? So that's why you have to double click to change the actual fill color of the text. So be careful with these little things. I got sidetracked a few times. I try to do too many things at once and it backfired. I was like, why is it not working? So you got to just take your time and just do like one first. Once that works, do the next one and so on and so forth. So let's do the other one now. Again, I'll repeat the same process and steps again one more time. I'll just do one more. I'm not going to do all four because it's going to waste a lot of time because I want to show you another attribute you can add on your UI kit for your desktop website. So this one's going to be the same thing. What's the shortcut again, everyone? Very good. Option Command K, right? Very good. So Option Shift K. Does it matter if you remember the shortcut? No, but it's good to know, right? Just to get more familiar with your shortcut. So once you, and again, if you don't remember the shortcut, look over here. Create component, okay? You can even right click, okay? And you can also do what's called here, create component. Sometimes I do a screen capture from my students. Once it's a component, you'll notice the purple box. So then I'm going to go and double click and change my text color from default white to maybe like a, I don't know, like a light gray or something like that. To create the second variant of what it's going to change to, I'm going to go ahead and use this little option here. It's called add variants. I don't think there's a shortcut for adding variants. There might be, but I don't see it show up now, so I'm not going to mislead you. But if you click on add variant, it creates that second state. Call it a rollover state. Could be a click state. I'll do another rollover for now. And I promise you I'll do the click state next. So you can see how more elaborate these things can be. So what's going to happen is when I roll over this, what's the color of this one going to be? This time I'm going to get more creative, everyone. Just going to make this into an actual like box color. Why not, right? Maybe we'll do something like this. It won't look as pretty, but it'll work. Right, there we go. So it's going to look like that. Another form of a rollover. Get darker green. Okay. So now how do we make the two connect with one another? So we click on this one. What do we do? Somebody show me, please. What do we do next? How do I make it work? Very good. I have to go to a prototype, and then what I have to do? Link it, like insert an action of some sort. So I'm going to go either, it's better to zoom in because you're not going to see much unless you do this. So I like to zoom in. You can link it from the bottom like this, right? Or you link it from the side or from the left or from the top, whatever your preference is. Doesn't matter. Okay. I like to open all these little examples so you're not thinking like, it's got to be done this way, right? As long as you link it, it'll work. So you link it to that. And then it's going to ask you, well, how will this link? On what action? Well, on click, we're going to do hovering. I'll do the click after with the like button and stuff. While hovering, see, if you don't do hovering, these are more automatic events. These other ones are tedious. Like you can really make this thing look like enter, leave. Like I remember when I taught director, like, wow, 15 years ago, we used to do things like mouse enter, mouse leave. This does all in one. Hovering means you're on, you're off, right? You don't have to overthink it. But we had to do enter, then the color changes. Leave, color changes back to default, like a reset. It's like a switch. So you have to do all these. So please don't worry about these for now unless you're getting more like an expert level and you want to do some really crazy interactive stuff with Figma, which honestly, if you want to do that, you can, but it's not required for the way we're learning it right now. So we're going to go while hovering, which means while the mouse cursor is on it, change it to variant 2. Okay. And you don't have to worry about setting it back. It's just going to do that. So if I close it now, it's done. I go back to my portfolio website, and here it is right here. The button exists because I made it. I simply drag it over, and this now, back to design view. Wasn't moving it for a second. Okay, there we go. Okay, so bio's right there. So now I have two buttons, right? And I'm going to do a nice, instead of preview this time, I'm going to do a present, like a presentation view. I think the bigger the screen, like it becomes a little bigger. I kind of like this better. It gives you a more presentation preview than a little window and you have to resize it and stuff. So maybe just do this for now. And ladies and gentlemen, sure enough, you do this. It goes and changes the color based on, me clicking this here. And this one changes just the text color. So if you want to do like box rollover changes or you want to do text, whatever you're into, they both do the same thing. Okay. All right. I'm going to place the other default ones for now. Okay. These are just going to stay there. Okay. And the contact will be here. I like how also XD has a way to utilize the colors. I mean, sorry, the spacing. So when you do this, it gives you 65 pixels left and right, 65 pixels from left to right. So it gives you all even individual spacing, right? So it does have what's called horizontal distribute, right? Or distribute horizontal spacing. Whether you're creating a like button or you're creating a thing button, a face of social media button, doesn't matter. You can convert anything into a component and do some kind of a variant attribute. So I'm going to do this one next. Okay. Uh, Let me just get one from here. I'll do an icon set very quickly. There we go, right? So I'll grab this icon here, drag it in there. Okay. So be mindful when you do this, it's grouped into an icon. So you can either go ungroup, so it becomes a vector file, right? Then you can actually go ahead and leave it like that. Just ungroup it basically. Okay? So it becomes like it's free from its symbol state. I'm going to put this over here and do another variant, right? So first I'll change the color of it to blue, right? Right away, create a component, right? So create component and right away add variant. So there's the two variants. The difference now will be that I'm going to make this a click state variant. Like when you do your social media, you like or dislike or unlike, or you do the 5-star rating. You can do lots of other states, not just while hovering on websites. So for this one, I'm going to change this color here to white. This one to blue, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and do what's called prototype and connect this one to look like that one. This time it'll be on click. So when people click, it'll change to that color. But now look at this. To change it back, right? Well, first let's see if the click will do it, and then we can do a click and click. I think it should work as is. I'm overthinking it myself. So let's go ahead and do a click button on our website using another interactive component. Back to design view I go. Back to my assets. There's my, look, see all the assets that are building here? Every time you make stuff here, it shows up over here. So now I'm going to bring this like button right now and put it on top of my artboards. So I'm going to go and move it here. Zoom right in. I don't know if you can see that too much, but whatever. It'll be okay for now. I'm going to be able to put it here. And yes, you can resize it totally. We'll put it on the bottom. Option drag. Here's another one. Option drag. Okay, see you next week. Okay. So I got these three little like icons on the images now, right? So if I go ahead and press the present option again, now we have not just our interactive rollovers, but we also have the like buttons. But guess what? They don't change back. I want to go on and off, right? So right now, we only did one state. We did on click, change to that. We didn't tell it to go back. So that's something, hovering was more forgiving. It's easier. It does it automatically because while you're hovering, change it to the color. That means if you're not hovering, go back to normal. It's kind of obvious, but not really because it doesn't explain it. But once you understand the difference, you're in full control this way. So now that we know, let's go close it down. Let's go back to edit our variant. So we go back to this one. We said, listen, we know what we did. Okay, we changed it to this one here to look like that. If you're not sure, you can always click on the actual linear connect. You see this little line here? Click on that. It shows you what you did. Now to change it back, okay, we click on this second one and you position that one to the first one. And you do again on click, change to that one. Right? The first one changes to that one, and this one changes to that one. See how there's two arrows? They're interchangeable. It better work now. Now, what do you think? Because I did that, do I have to update this or can I leave it alone? What's the answer? Anyone? Why? And you're right. Good answer. Because it's the same component. Because we edit it doesn't mean we have to always change it. It's automatically updated. So it's because it's taking its information from here. We're basically editing this. See? Right? So once we change it, it should work. And let's test that out. So let's go ahead and press the present button. And we have the rollovers working fine. I also did these other buttons here for fun, just to test this out. And of course, we have the like and unlike buttons all activated right now, on and off, right? Okay. You can do a lot. Look, even these buttons here, the links, you can do the clicks, right? You can do a lot with this. Hover state and click state. Like, look around you. All the interactive stuff that's around us is based on these two things: rollovers or clicks. But the only thing I'm going to do after with this is teach you guys how to do more advanced things like scrolls, slides, carousels. It's honestly, it's a little, I can't overwhelm you in one class, obviously. So I'm doing things in segments, but this is enough to teach you how to really get this thing wrapped up. You still have one more week, right? So basically, I want to see you incorporate a nice presentable design layout with your portfolio. If you don't have your real pictures ready, put something for now. Like I won't, I guess, know your portfolio until I see it anyways. But I like to see your real work. It's nice to have it there and do things like this, like little like buttons, like on and off, right? Do a little rollover for the links, do little menus, right? All the little fancy cool things that you need. Got it? Okay. And don't worry about the whole interactive thing because honestly, you're not making a website prototype. I'm not doing that. I'm investing your time in doing an app with a group project instead because this is a whole bunch of stuff if I gave you that. One more thing though before we wrap it up, just on the side note of interaction and stuff. Let's say you did want to make this a website to prototype how it's going to work. Well, let's say we copy this now. Watch this, Command D, right? There's the second page. This could be my I don't know, my bio section website. So I can then go ahead and simply go delete and change all these things here. Maybe I'll do this, right? Zoom in here. Just do a slight change with my layout for a second. Just to show you how easy it is to do this. Let's say this is my bio section, right? Go. And this page is not as long as the home page, so it's going to be this short. And this is my, like I said, your bio section. Maybe I'll clearly identify that by typing biography section example. Okay. And the question was asked earlier while I was on breaks. The gentleman left. How do you make the text bigger? I said, look, you can do Command Shift greater than, less than on the shortcuts. Yes, Figma doesn't let you do this. Look, it doesn't let you resize it this way. It doesn't work. You know how you do it? If you want to do it like that, you switch to this tool right here, scale tool. The shortcut's K. So if you do that one, it will work after, right? It's still, look, no shift. It still constrains it. So you could do either you do the font size, the shortcuts, or the scale tool. So the choice is yours, whatever works for you. Okay, so here are my 2 pages. And yes, I can make 2 more and make it a full portfolio prototype with 4 pages. Look, I'm not going to stop you. If you want to show me that you can do 4 pages, do 4 pages. I'm honestly looking for the more presentation of the UI kit. So to connect these 2 pages now, it's very simple. Now that we did all the rollovers and stuff, you go back to prototype and you say, listen, we already did the states and variants and stuff. All we're doing now is linking this portfolio button, right, to this page. See, simply drag and drop, right? On drag, no. Oh, sorry, I think I messed up the click state here for a second. Let me link this button, okay? Because this one, I think I did something with the hover state. Let me do the portfolio for a second. You simply link this to that, on click, navigate to the other page, okay? And to go back, the home button, on click, navigate to full render prototype. I wonder what happened to my bio button. That I think I accidentally did something and it didn't work. There we go. I deleted it. Let's see if it's gonna work now. Yeah, it's weird. On click is disabled for some reason. Anyways, whatever. I'm not gonna nitpick it right now. I'm gonna figure it out after. But the main thing is I linked this one. Okay. On click, navigate to. We'll call this bio page. Okay. Delete the drag. I'm not using a drag function. So on click, navigate to. On click, navigate to bio page. Okay. Don't try to change your artboard names in the middle of doing this. That's something I did right now that was wrong. Like, don't change. First, do your names of your artboards, then do the links. Because if I tell you to go to room 607, and all of a sudden you walk there and I change it to room 609, you're gonna get confused. So maybe do the proper naming convention and then do the links afterwards. I was trying to do two things at once. So basically this connects here. This home button goes back to home. Nothing complicated here, guys. Okay, it's simple. Let's just press the play button. Here we go. So everything works fine. Okay, and this one goes to the portfolio section, right? And this one goes back to the home section, right? And that's pretty much how you can link the whole page. It's pretty simple. It's the more interactive stuff that's a little more tedious with working on it, but that's something that I wanted to show you as well with doing more interactive stuff. Okay. All right, so we're gonna stop it here. Okay. Next week we'll meet up. We're gonna focus on. I'm gonna assign the groups at this point because I was hoping to get all your groups by today. It looks like I still have a list of people. So the people that I see missing, I'll put you in a group, okay? And if there's an issue with your group, tell me right away. Maybe there's something you don't get along with that person. I don't know. Okay? I don't know what's happening with you guys, but I think you're all good. You're all pretty respectful to one another. But it happens sometimes when people don't get along or whatever the reason is. I like to hear it. So please let me know. If there's no issue, I'm assuming you're okay, and we'll proceed forward. All right. So in the meantime, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I hope it was very informative. Okay, so this is Figma from now on. We still got a good number of classes ahead of us. I'll teach you as much as I can right to the end, and you're gonna be able to create an app after the website, a full rendered app with your group. Okay, so I'll see you when you come back, and enjoy your night. Thanks for watching. Save this quickly here too. Oh,